karma is not personal. Karma is impersonal. Life is impersonal and seems to be personal to us. And we say, oh, it's my karma. There's no your karma. Your impression of being a somebody, or that impression to be a somebody, appears as karma, but nobody has it. Like the ego, the ego is the impression to be a person, but who has it? Nobody. It's just an impersonal concept appearing. But yet, what I've been putting it into motion was an identification. And as nothing is ever really destroyed, but just transform itself, it needs to be transformed into transcendence. It needs to be consciously, be consciously transcended. Otherwise, impression to be a somebody carries on embodying itself lifetimes after lifetimes and appears as forms.
Welcome to Letting Go and the Greatest Secret, where we explore the end of your suffering and the beginning of lasting happiness. I'm Hale Dwoskin, and today I'll be speaking with Shakti Caterina Maggi. Shakti Caterina Maggi is a spiritual guide who from a very young age experienced many openings to the self and the true nature of reality. But it was while working as a financial journalist in Milan in 2003 when she had her first experience of kundalini awakening. She began a years-long process of integrating her personal transformation into daily life under the guidance of Bodhi Avasa. Then herself began offering formal satsangs at the Sadhana Association in Turin. Shakti is a contributing author of the book On the Mystery of Being, an anthology of science and spirituality. And she's featured alongside me in Rhonda Byrne's book, The Greatest Secret. It's been a while since we've chatted, so can we just start where you catch everyone up, me and everyone else, on where you are in your awakening unfoldment?
Hello, everybody, and a whole dear one. Thank you for inviting me again. It's a true pleasure to speak again with you and to offer any inspiration to anybody on your channel. And yeah, it's been like a while. So many things happening in the last 2 years worldwide and inside and outside of us.
Yes.
And yeah, well, for me, what has been arising recently is really the importance of embodying what we know is true more and more, and to the importance of walking the path that we talk about.
Yes.
And to really humbly bow to, divine existence, life as the greatest teacher. And I've been very busy teaching. There's been a lot of teaching and a lot of opportunity to look how to offer a teaching that is more and more easy for people, as an invitation to take in, as a pointer to find a way to really take in the teaching, bring it in, and see what is true of you, and see if it's valid for you, or if you find it valid, are you living it? So that is what has been emerging. The importance to be the path, and to walk it in a more and more sincere and honest way.
Yes. So the first question that comes up, though, is there actually a path, or is this already divine grace? This already the one?
Well, for me, and I think for you too, life is the path, because our embodiment, our incarnation is already our spiritual life. Whatever we meet in our life, exactly as it is, in any aspect, of it, is a door, an invitation for waking up to our true nature.
Yes.
And And so it's not, I don't believe in a spiritual life separated from a everyday one.
There's no boundary. Exactly.
I give for granted in a way when I say path, I just give for granted that path is life.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Life is the Sadguru, is the ultimate guru. And I find fascinating sometimes when we know things spiritually, we maybe chew many concepts, we know it very well. And sometimes we see we are not experiencing it. So, matching the experience with the knowledge so that we can embody wisdom.
Yes.
And not just emotions. And that's where I try to be the most of the time, and where, I invite people to be completely meeting this in your everyday, and then becomes a kind of a silent knowing, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Not you know it here, but it's you. It's simply what is happening.
Yes. It's actually the way it lands here is it's more of beyond knowing. It's just simply being.
Exactly. It's like being the knowing. It's is like experiencing the truth as your own being. So it goes completely beyond the mind, beyond the feelings. It goes in a completely different dimension.
Yes. So you say you've changed the way you've always, as far as I've seen, you've always tried to help people bring it into the direct experience and to live it. So what are some of the things that you've changed, or what can you share with the audience that would help them right now to do what you're talking about?
Well, it's not I changed the teaching or the way of teaching. I wouldn't say so. You're right. But it's more like seeing in ourselves where we know that something is true and we try to make it true in our life versus seeing where we really are, in a way, the truth of the moment, and staying with that from from awareness, from the science of being. I think sometimes we can become theoretical without knowing it,
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so many people say, oh, I am awareness, and then they kind of try to be awareness. That doesn't make any sense,
Right.
And what I'm trying maybe now more to invite people, for instance, maybe somebody says, oh, I can't find this awareness, or I'm not sure exactly what it is. So maybe I say to them, okay, so what do you feel to be? What is your experience of I? Maybe they say, oh, I feel I'm a person, or I am my body, mind, or my thought. And just, from there, for instance, just an example, okay, so your truth is that you feel to be a person. Where are you seeing that from? How does it feel like? What is your inner experience of that? And bringing from what is, really your direct experience, your perception. Sanskrit is called pratyaksha, the direct knowing. Bring it back into something that has no words, because awareness is not made of words.
Yes, yes.
So this is just a little example, just to
Yeah,
be
no,
able
that's a
to.
good example. One of the things that's been happening here in the past couple of years is there's also a pointing to that which is beyond even awareness, because for many decades I was working with people asking them, are you that, or are you that which is aware? And that's helped people discover witnessing and live witnessing. But in the past couple of years, what's been happening is there's been a going beyond witnessing.
Exactly.
And so how have you so how's that shown up for you, and how do you explain that?
It's resonating completely, because in reality, the recognition of witnessing is not awakening.
Right.
is still, in Sanskrit is Turiya, no? Is the fourth
Yes.
stage. So we have, I just say it not for me and you, but for the people that
No.
might.
I like when you bring in the Sanskrit references. Most of the people I speak to aren't versed in that, but you and I are, so we can we can throw those in.
Yeah, we
And
can
I know
explain.
the audience that you speak to, many of them are very interested in that. So let's also bring that in for that purpose.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to explain it in a very, common words, we experience three states of consciousness, as we all know: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep.
Yes.
And then there is this witnessing, that is the fourth state, is a fourth dimension of consciousness, but still is not the absolute reality, because it's something that exists when manifestation exists.
Yes, only when manifestation exists. Yes.
So the awareness, if we intend as awareness that as witnessing, is the threshold between what never manifests and the manifestation, and we can
Yes.
only rest. We can only rest in the witnessing, because beyond that in Sanskrit is called Turiyatita, you just go beyond it.
Yes.
You're taken. There is a beautiful expression of Jan Klein that said, is a teacher I love profoundly, that he said, you're taken, you're kidnapped. You cannot go there with your own feet, because you completely disappear in it, and that's the true awakening.
Yes. There's the end of the separate entity. It just fully melts. But what's been very interesting is there's a growing recognition. You know, I don't really see myself as a teacher. I think what we both do is we point to something that's obvious.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm giving something to people. I'm pointing out what everyone knows at the deepest level already.
Yes.
And there's an openness now to witnessing is radical, and most people think that is awakening. There's a big misconception about that. Most people think that is awakening. And compared to the way most of us live our lives, it's amazing. I mean, it's it's revolutionary.
I totally resonate with what you say, and I've been focusing actually recently a lot on this, on pointing how that witnessing is the place where meditation happens, is the place where we want to rest, but the awakening is beyond that. And and I think the confusion is, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but the confusion comes because we think to know what awakening is, and a lot of people use this word for different things.
Oh, definitely. That's very true.
I mean, like a change of life seems to be an awakening, or
That's right.
Even just, for instance, the recognition of the oneness of all, it feels like awakening, because you say, oh my God, I felt peace, I felt bliss, I felt love, but that's not awakening. It's an experience. It's a beautiful experience.
Yes.
It's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, as our true I, in it, there is no awakening or bondage. Right. It's beyond both.
Yes.
Because absolute stillness. Yes. And is unspeakable. But we can only rest in this witnessing, as we said, and that's that's what can be invited. Beyond that, cannot be invited by anybody. You can't go there because you want, because even that stirs the waves of the mind and creates further activity. So
yes. But also, it's true. We should probably call it something else, because awakening is so overused. But true liberation is the complete dissolving of the imaginary sense of even someone who's witnessing.
I can say to you my experience. I don't know if it resonates with yours. What I call liberation is what in Sanskrit is called moksha. That is the complete extinction of any karmic impression. And in my experience, awakening, it's not equal to liberation, because liberation is something that comes some years after resting beyond the witnessing, beyond, seeing that there is nobody that is witnessing. So going beyond the witness, so I would call awakening this going beyond the witness as just a terminology. And I would call liberation the final stage of a totally impersonal process that happens afterwards, in the washing up, so to speak, of patterns of egoic impression. So it's very interesting for me to see how we can call awakening this space that is beyond the witnessing, that we cannot intentionally access. It can just happen. And in my terminology, I call liberation, or moksha, as is said in Sanskrit, the moment in which all these waves of impression to be a person that are no more steered by our attention, are no more recreated by our attention, then they come down. And there is a nice analogy. It's like, you are chopping the head of somebody on the top of the hill. Yeah. So the head is no more there. It's dead. The ego is dead. But the head is rolling down the hill still for a while. And that rolling down is the unfolding of what has been already put into action before. And so there is time and space to slow that down. It's not immediate. It'll take a while.
Yes.
Because
that's a very Kali image.
Yeah, but the thing is that all the time, maybe this is worth it to say it, it's not that we have karma, we are born with our karma, and that's it. All the time that we believe to be the author of an action, all the time that we give attention to the sense of an I, all the time, karma is recreated. So you have additional karma in this lifetime that you are adding to your list all the time that you think to be an author of an action. So that energy has to unfold and finish before the karma is completely extinguished. So even after there is a definite and not returning sense of being a person in what we could call true awakening, there is a moment in which this pattern that were already put into motion, they carry on going on, they carry on unfolding, and they are felt a bit like a ghost with no will or center, but they move, and they are like impressions, and it's your job just do nothing and watching it, because at that point you don't feel that there is it happening to you, they are happening in you. It's an unfolding happening in you. And but anyway, this is just my terminology and my impressions.
Yes. No. Thank you. It's very well expressed. What's being noticed here is that there's there already is no person, period. And at the same time, there is only freedom or liberation. That's not an experience. It's just what is.
Absolutely. There is no person since the beginning, even when you believe to be a person.
Yes, exactly.
At the same time, after this recognition has happened in this profound way that we discussed before, anyway, what was put into motion, it's carry on unfolding, because without karma, you would not see even the body, because life is karma, life is action. Karma means simply action. So the energy that put into motion life is when awareness is identified with this action, in its inquiry. What am I? What am I? What am I? And this creates the universe, it creates life, and creates also this embodiment that we seem to inhabit, our body mind. But our life as it is, not just the body mind, but this array in consciousness that we call our life is karma, is action, and is pushed, it's moved by the awareness having attention or attraction. Even when there is repulsion, it's anyway, an involvement. Awareness of involvement with life, and this creates life, put things into motion. So when awakening happens, you cut the root of the tree, as Ramana Maharshi said. But whatever was put into motion before, like as I say jokingly, the head that is rolling down the hill has to come back. Not karma, but you're just watching this happening, and then it hasn't happened here, and if it happens in this lifetime and we're still alive and we can speak about it, I will tell you more. Well, what I know profoundly by reading instead, in this case, not as an experience, the life of master, for great master, that a rich liberation, that is the end of karma, complete end of karma, not just awakening, complete end.
Yes.
Then you struggle to be here. You have to find like tricks to be here. I usually say this story. You might like it, of Ramakrishna, that was a great saint of last century that many of the audience might know. And he was one of the greatest saints of India, of the last decades. And nobody had any doubt about it, but he was very fond of food. And his wife, every night, when it was dinner time, he was coming to his wife and said, good, what's for dinner tonight? And one day the wife said, oh my God, Ramakrishna, you are such a great teacher. Every pandit, every scholar come to study with you. Everybody wants to be sitting at your feet. And you always are asking me what's for dinner. You're so attached for food. How is that? And he said, well, mind well, if for 4 days in a row, I don't ask you what's for dinner, please know that I will be living this plane of existence and I will be reaching Mahasamadhi. And in other words, he was using consciously, that's the point, a little attachment to something like dinner, for remaining here. Because otherwise, you just dissolve into pure light in Mahasamadhi, and the body stops functioning. So you just pass.
Yes, there's a very rich history from the East. And it has all these amazing stories with it. Very much so.
So it's interesting. Anyway, I don't think this is concerning probably none of the people.
So let's see if we can reel it in a little.
Asking for people to know what is karma. Karma is not punishment. It's not, homework. It's just actions. And the creation of this action is given by our identification with it. So that's it.
But maybe sorry, I interrupted.
Because that is exactly what creates our life. It's literally the consciousness interested in these images, in this, mnemonic impression that by, this interest makes consciousness fall, in these vortexes of energy, this vritti, and that's where the embodiment starts. So literally, our life is the embodiment of consciousness and is the embodiment of the wisdom, but also of the ignorance. And by displaying the ignorance in our life, we have the opportunity to dissolve it and transcend it. And yes, I totally agree with you. We are already 100% free. We are 100% already this ultimate reality, but are we embodying it? Is our actual everyday experience, every moment by moment experience, or there is still something that is bothering us, or there is still a display of some pattern that, lingers there?
Sure. But isn't that perspective I honor completely. I do. And at the same time, let's explore this. And I think you would agree with this too. Is that is it actually karma, or is it just merely what's apparently happening to no one? It's just what the unfolding of the one energy.
It's these two things are not two things, it's one thing, because
Yes.
karma is not personal.
Yes.
Karma is impersonal. Life is impersonal and seems to be personal to us. And we say, oh, it's my karma. There's
Right.
no your karma. You know, your impression of being a somebody, or that impression to be a somebody, appears as karma, but nobody has it. Like the
Yes.
ego. The ego is the impression to be a person, but who has it? Nobody.
Right.
It's
Right.
just an impersonal concept appearing. But yet, what have been putting it into motion was an identification. And as nothing is ever really destroyed, but just transform itself, it needs to be transformed into transcendence. It needs to be be consciously transcended. Otherwise, impression to be a somebody carries on embodying itself lifetimes after lifetimes and appears as us. I mean, as forms. That's
As
what
forms,
it meant.
yes. Exactly. So what else do you share with people to help them recognize what you're talking about and to live it, to embody it?
Yeah. Well, I find that the most profound and the only one thing we can do is to rest in our heart. And because our heart is the abode of non-dual consciousness, is that inner space where there is no duality, there is no me, you, right, wrong, positive, negative, awakened, not awakened, whatever. And the heart helps to find the direction, the clarity where we feel we lost our way. So a lot of people say to me, oh my God, my mind is nagging me and I love to be with you, Shakti, but when I am in my everyday life, I feel so confused, and my thoughts are relentlessly haunting me. I feel I am dragged into the same pattern all over again, all the time. And my suggestion is that in any moment, independently from our level of consciousness and independently from where we feel to be, we are able to find in the heart an instantaneous peace and stillness. So maybe there is confusion, maybe there is pain, maybe there is anger or sadness or loneliness or any uncomfortable feeling. And we can, in any moment, descend in the heart and embracing this and staying with this. And this contents then, instead than being, instead than trying to, analyze it with the mind or understanding it, they're just welcomed. They're just, like a baby in the arms of a mother. They're just hugged by our attention. And that's what can instantaneously bring a space of clarity and peace. And it does not mean that you don't have to work that stuff through. You do, because as we said, it's probably our karma, our destiny, our direction. But it's something that can be welcomed from the right space within. So my indication to students and people I meet is this. The heart cannot be thought, can only be pointed. And I'm just a finger pointing the moon. But, deeply, we are this message.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And this message is in the heart.
Yes.
The heart is the Lord of all things.
Yeah, that's where true resonance happens. is as heart.
Yeah. And it's so magic, any moment, in any moment we can, refine this connection in the heart, even when we are desperate or anguished. Any moment is possible.
Yes.
So if anybody here is listening and managed to arrive at this point of the conversation, still interested, and you feel down or you're looking for light, just close your eyes. Imagine to descend a little bit in the middle of your chest. The heart is not the organ, but that's the reference point.
Yes.
Just descend down in the middle of your chest and just be. That's it.
That's a good summary.
Of course.
Yeah, the heart stops all conversation. It's just
I agree.
there is a rest that is heart.
Yeah. Because you see, our heart, my experience, doesn't speak with words. Rarely speaks with words. It speaks with the vibration of expansion and contractions. And it shows us, where, how to discern what is really important for us by what is not, what is truly a priority and what is not. It shows us where we are judging because we are afraid, or escaping because we are afraid, and lead us in a very humble space of authenticity. Mm. And it's for everybody. You don't need to know anything about Advaita. You don't need to know anything about spirituality or teachers or whatever, or karma or all that stuff. Anybody can descend in your heart. And it doesn't need time of preparation. If you want, it happens in 1 second.
Yeah.
It's not, the heart is not an emotion, not a physical organ.
Yes.
There's a loving space, it's welcoming everything.
Yes. This ultimately, this is love.
Yeah. Impersonal, compassionate love.
So I could sit here in silence for a long time, but that doesn't work on a podcast.
Sorry. Sorry.
No. Don't apologize for it. It's wonderful. If it was just you and me, and we weren't. Again, it's actually easier with video too. But many people are going to just be listening to this. So, so I just think this is a good place to wrap it up. Would you add? I don't know what you could add to that, but if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
I would like to address people the importance of not feeling discouraged because they don't feel to be perfect, or they don't feel to be, they don't feel that their life is as their mind thinks it should be, or they feel to be a failure in any way.
Yes.
Don't be discouraged. Life as it is your perfect opportunity in any single moment to realize what you truly are. In any single moment, life is the expression of, as we said before, of what you know and also what yet you haven't realized to be. So it's a mix of wisdom and ignorance. Is your perfect opportunity, is your mirror, and it's not a punishment. Life is not a punishment.
Yes.
Life is an invitation. Any moment is so innocent. Maybe you are caught up in your ideas about you, how you should be, or how life should be, or how other people should be, and you struggle. And then in any moment you can stop, descend in your heart, and just be. Maybe you notice, even just simply, that all the story in your mind, it's not happening. It's happening in your mind. Or maybe some part of it is happening really in your life. But in this moment, maybe you can't do anything about it, but you can be. And from there, you find this very simple, ordinary way of living in an acceptance that it's not a mind that says, okay, I accept this. I didn't like it, but I accept it.
Right.
But it is like a letting go more profound into being. How can we explain being? We cannot. But you see, you, me and you know it, but any person that listen to this conversation, please don't think that it's over or you can't make it or it's too much. Whatever you're going through is a precious moment for embodying a vibration that needs to be met in the heart. You don't need to accept the next 10 years. You need just to stay with this moment now, in this moment. And if you can do that, and I can guarantee you it's like this, if you can be now in this moment with this moment, then there is a breakthrough of the light of existence in your life. Another force steps in that doesn't come from the effort, but come directly from the heart that is the divine in us. So that's what I would like to say. We live in a world that seems to be, I don't remember if we spoke about it in our previous conversation, but we live in a world that seems to be more and more desperate. Yeah. But it's, we never have been caring so much for one another in reality. We never been caring so much if there was a war or other people away from us, that were suffering. 100 years ago, we were going to see, some guy being hanged in the square of the town. And that was like our Saturday afternoon.
Right.
And now, now we are horrified to the idea to do that. So it means that there is an improvement. And yes, there is a lot of poverty and it's crazy because there is a lot of richness. And yes, there is a lot of people that don't have enough food to eat or don't have a shelter, and is terrible and is unnatural and shouldn't happen. So there is still a lot of work to do. But also, for the first time in our known history, we care about this. We never been caring about it. We never been caring about people of another nation, and this is important. This means something. Never been caring for the rights of other people that are not involving ours. It means that we are opening up, and we must insist on this opening up and not on our differences.
Yes.
I think nowadays we focus too much on our divergences instead of focusing on what is, what is joining us deeply.
Yes.
That's my tip for today.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you. And I heartfully and fully agree that this whole time period is an invitation to live as love or live as the heart in action.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you saw this, like there is like a lot of looking for identities nowadays, like
Yes.
we look for new definitions, new way to express authenticity and what is, ourself.
Yes.
And it's beautiful because it's also a creative exploration, but also seems to be just like looking for a definition on how we look, on how we appear.
Yes, yes,
It's a looking for an identity, but still on the surface.
yes,
But I think it's the beginning for a deeper looking, for what is
yes,
real.
yes, yes,
And it's interesting. So we want to be ourselves, and we want to be unique and individual, and as forms we are. Our form is unique and individual and precious. But if we can focus on, maybe your color is different from mine, or my nationality is different from mine, or my political opinion is different from mine. But if we can, recognize where we are the same being, then we can enjoy our differences. We can celebrate them.
yes, yes. Beautiful. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Yes, likewise. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Shakti Caterina Maggi. You can learn more about Shakti at shakticaterinamaggi.com. That's ShaktiCaterinamaggi.com. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe so you have immediate access to future episodes. Please give us a 5-star rating and share it with the people you care about. If you'd like to learn more about my work, my mentor Lester Levinson's work, and the Sedona method, please visit www.sedona.com. As you explore our site, you'll learn the key to lasting happiness, success, peace, and emotional well-being. We have books, courses, events, and plenty of free material to explore. Again, go to sedona.com. That's SEDONA.com. Thank you for being here, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Letting Go and the Greatest Secret.